What's up guys, Americano back here with another video. Silver is breaking out of a 45-year cup and handle pattern, and honestly, I have no clue what this means for crypto. This isn't clickbait. This setup has not happened in decades, and it could change how money flows across every single asset. So make sure you watch this video to the end so you're caught up on everything going on in silver. All right, guys, we have been tracking this for some time now. It's been probably at least since maybe March? Damn, March? Nah, not March. June-ish, I would say, that we've been tracking this in premium Discord, and then now we've kind of been making some videos on Bitcoin versus gold as we break out of this parabola on gold, which is in blue. My Bitcoin candles are here in the black and white, and then my M2 is down here in purple. We've been talking about this dynamic for a while. Not only Bitcoin's performance against gold, but the fact that all of this extra liquidity from M2, as you guys see here, has gone to gold, has been soaked up by gold and the stock market, and kind of avoided Bitcoin and crypto really over the last since May, since we got out of this April bottom. I know Ethereum's been catching up major in here, but when it comes to like Bitcoin and broader crypto markets, we are still in ranges that we've been in. We've seen 100% pumps in the altcoin market. We've seen 200% moves into Ethereum. We're seeing everything we want to set us up for some sort of catch-up move, to catch up to this, global liquidity in here. Kind of alluding to the other videos where we talk about Bitcoin versus gold. It's going to take some sort of consolidation in gold for Bitcoin to likely get the breakout. It's a Sunday. As I'm filming this, Bitcoin's up 0.5%. Bitcoin made new highs last night. So are we, getting kind of insight to what the next week is going to hold? Maybe when metals open up today, they open down, whatever have you. That is yet to be determined. I'm making other videos this week on what to look out for when it comes to these relationships in the charts this week, because there's some pretty big stuff showing up. Things are at pretty critical points. So we will be covering that, but I want to frame this up. This video is going to be about silver, but I do want to talk about in here this dynamic that we've been tracking of basically gold soaking up all the liquidity from M2, it not going to crypto, where we've been relatively flat, while gold has gone parabolic with into money supply. Now, let's move on and look at silver. This is a potential breakout from a cup and handle that started forming in January of 1980. All right, that makes it, if my math is correct, a 45-year cup and handle pattern. So take it for what you will. I've told you guys, contrary to popular belief or contrary to, I don't know how I don't know how this is even debatable, but seeing gold and silver and metals and stuff like that take off isn't necessarily the worst thing for crypto, but we do need it to consolidate for us to actually take off. We can't have gold going parabolic and expect Bitcoin to be doing anything, simply because, like I said, gold is soaking up all of that liquidity. So we actually need gold to somewhat cool off a little bit. Metals typically move together. Obviously, silver has been performing well with gold in here, but it hasn't been as good, as it hasn't gotten the breakout, hasn't been in this parabola type of move. But with silver on the verge of a breakout, we need to be looking very, very, very closely at what's going to happen. The other problem with this, not only the problem of this being a 45-year cup and handle pattern, but yeah, I guess kind of within that problem is that we haven't created a new high in silver. The last high we had was in 2011, which Bitcoin was barely around at that time, much less altcoins and things like that. So within the substantial last 3 cycles of Bitcoin, 17, 21, and 25, we have not had silver breaking out. So if this thing does get a massive breakout, if this thing does go into a parabola, similar to what it did here, similar kind of cup and handle pattern. I know this data isn't fully supported in here, so we kind of have to just smooth it out like a line. And this data is dating back to 1802 on silver here. If I go all the way back here, right, 1802, 1803. So it's again not a time that we even really had stocks to look at, things like that. I can look at the stock market, what happened in here, but I don't think it gives us the best. So I just want to preface this, just throw it out there right now. If silver rips out of here, If silver breaks out this week, goes on a parabolic rise, I have no earthly idea what's going to happen in the crypto market. Let that sit in for a little bit. I have no idea. I don't have anything that I can say, hey, if we pull up the Russell 2000 and we see when the Russell 2000 breaks out, we can see it's been good for altcoins. When we look at things like, dollar breaking down, we can see it's good for crypto, whatever have you. But I don't have relationships to look at when it comes to silver. I can speculate that it probably would not be good, as, gold going on parabolic rise in here hasn't been great for crypto. And then I can speculate too that if silver's breaking out, it's likely that gold is continuing higher, again, reinforcing this dynamic that we've showed here, which is important to look at. So I can say it is likely not going to be great for crypto if gold or if silver does go on some sort of parabolic rise from here. So let's just get that out of the way now. I don't know what's going to happen. At the same time, too, just like we talked about for Ethereum in here. I said this over and over again is we don't work all the way back to 4-year highs with the dynamics showing up in things like Bitcoin dominance and cycle timing just to reject from here. I also said too that, hey, this is going to be difficult. There is going to be chop. There's going to be, people are going to get scared. All types of things are going to happen once we tap this all-time high to shake people out before the real move happens. I don't think it's going to be any different on silver. Do I think silver has gone through a 45-year cup and handle pattern just to get back to here, just to reject? No. Do I think silver will have its time to go on its parabolic rise and go much higher? Yes, absolutely. Does that mean crypto in the near term is cooked? No. I am on a quarterly chart right now, right? Let's, go down to a weekly chart and we can see it a little bit better even, right? This is price action from, let's just take something everybody remembers. This is COVID until now. 5 years of price action on silver to basically round out this kind of back half of this cup and handle pattern. But the point is silver can move pretty damn slow. 45 years to play out this entire pattern. Would it be crazy to assume that just like on Ethereum reaching back to the all-time high, that we could get some sort of chop in here? This is out to March of 2031. I'm not saying it needs to go that far, but literally 2-3 months of sideways chop on silver before we got a breakout could signify or could give us enough time to get the moves that we want to get in the altcoin market. Again, this video is kind of entirely speculation. Obviously, if this plays out with pullbacks and stuff like that, likely coinciding with pullback in gold, which as we talked about, is going to be good for crypto. But ultimately, everything I'm saying in this video is speculation, and it's just a chart we need to watch this week. If it's breaking out to the upside, if it's going parabolic, we don't really know, right? We honest to God do not know. We can speculate that it means gold's going to continue higher and that it would likely put some pressure on crypto. But at the same time, speculating again, if we do get some sort of rejection, which wouldn't be the craziest thing, right? Even on a 4-year, if we want to call this a cup and handle as well, a 4-year kind of accumulation schematic, it still took, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are on our 7th week of chop, almost 2 months of chop on a 4-year pattern. So saying that silver couldn't chop out here for 3, 4, 5, 6 months even, I don't think is the craziest thing in the world. But we simply just have to watch what we get out of price this week. Big, big, big chart to watch. Be careful of any kind of macro investor, macro person telling you they know for sure what's going to happen if silver breaks out. We do not have data. We don't have data. I've looked. I spent like 6 hours the other day trying to theorize and look what would happen if silver broke out. And it basically boiled down to 2 things. I can speculate what's going to happen if it pumps. I can speculate what's going to happen if it chops. And I'm simply going to have to wait to see what happens this week, next week, over the following weeks on this silver chart. I personally think it would, like I said, I've said this before we were talking about silver. I said this about Ethereum, that it's likely to see some chop. So I do think this could come in, and that would coincide with a pullback in gold. We have Bitcoin breaking out early this Sunday. some sort of catch up has been expected from Bitcoin, whether it's catching up to gold or the stock market. So we have some confluences to look at, but again, we have to treat this kind of as its own thing because we've never seen this dynamic show up before while we've had crypto. Crypto only came around back in here, kind of little new all-time high, I guess we might be able to look at, but nothing as substantial as this massive cup and handle pattern. I think that's honestly it for this video. The main point is, again, we can speculate what's going to happen, A or B, depending what we get on silver's price. We've seen what's happened on Ethereum. We know the dynamic that's going on with gold, and that we do need a pullback for crypto to kind of start expanding for that Bitcoin to gold ratio to break out, things like that. So definitely one we want to keep eyes on this week. Again, be careful of anybody telling you that, hey, silver breaking out is going to mean this for crypto, because it's really just bias and speculation. We actually don't have any sound data on silver going on any sort of parabolic rise while crypto has been out. Even if we compare it to the stock market in, this was one of the most, unique times. Let me bounce back here. This was one of the most unique times in the stock market ever. This period from 1971 to 1974. This is when we got removed from the gold standard. This is all this type of currency debasement and mass monetary printing started. Obviously, that is kind of what we're in right now. This was very, very unique time. Also within, interest rate world and things like that, especially getting to the 1980s with Reagan coming into office and things like that. So it's kind of a hard time to even compare the stock market to. My point is, you guys know we've seen what's happened with gold breaking out. We've seen what that's done for the market. Can we speculate that silver breaking out would likely cause something similar? Absolutely. We've seen what happens when these just any chart reaches, massive highs like this, whether it's 4-year highs or 45-year highs. We've seen what happens, so we can speculate what would happen if we did get some sort of cool off in silver and gold. But again, be careful of anybody telling you this way or that way for certain, because it's just not data, right? Just is what it is. But definitely a chart that you guys need to be watching this week. And I think that is a good place to wrap up the video. I will definitely be updating about this in my Discord. So if you guys haven't joined the free Discord, make sure you click the link in my bio. Absolutely free. Don't want anything from you guys. Ask questions, hit me up in there. And I actually, top secret info here, post these YouTube videos early in the free Discord, right? Post them all privately listed, just post a link to it. So you guys can actually get access to all of these videos for the entire week, usually on Sunday or Monday. Secret sauce. Haven't mentioned it maybe in a while or ever, but if you guys do want to join that free Discord, a lot of benefits in there. Make sure you're looking out for silver this week. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully this made sense to you guys. Sorry, I can't give you hard data, but it is what it is. It is what it is. That's it for this one, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.